Okay, today we're going to take a look at how you can create a form that inserts a timestamp on insert or update, where the timestamp has 6 digits. And this is our table we're going to use today. And notice here we've got our comment date, a field timestamp. So to get started, we're going to go out to our app, create a new page. Grab our table. And we'll make sure it just branches back to the form on submit for default. All right, once we have the page up here, we're just going to do a touch of formatting to make things look better. All right, and the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and auto insert in our commenter. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to hidden. And on page load, we'll create a dynamic action. Okay, the action is going to set the value to the username of the person filling out the form. And we're going to make sure this is set to the item of commenter. Go ahead and save. Now, the other thing I want to do is just turn off the value protection here. Next, we see our comment date. This is where our timestamp goes. It's got a validation on it right now, which is fine. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to actually change this from date picker to hidden. Go ahead and hit save. And now we're going to come down to the button that we want to use. We're going to start with the create button here and create a new dynamic action. Okay, make sure we set this to set value. And we're going to do a SQL statement. Now I'm going to start where most people would, which is to say, hey, select the sys timestamp from dual. We're going to remove the escape characters so that this goes into the field. But you'll see you have to do something a little bit different and tricky. But I'm going to show you the state that where I started. So we're going to create another action. And this one's going to be to submit the page. All right. So with this in place, we'll go ahead here and hit run. And we'll just do a quick test. All right, if you get this error, you simply just got to come back. I forgot to turn off the value protected state. Not a big deal. Run it again. All right, we see the row that was created. Now if we go in the SQL workshop and we look at the row, it did insert a timestamp, but one of the things it didn't do was capture, the exact time, because right, it's not 12 a.m. where we are. So how do we fix this? How do we get this to work in Apex so it captures that full timestamp that we need of when a person performs this action? To do this, we're actually going to go up into our shared components, go down to globalization attributes, and then here we see our timestamp format is set by default for the application to DS. So we want to change this down here to the full format. We'll grab this, hit apply changes. We'll go back to our comment entry form. Go back into our dynamic action for the timestamp. And we kind of want to update this query. So now we're going to transform it into a toChar for the sys timestamp, and we're going to give it the specific format that we just set it to. The reason being is that all the form fields kind of on the Apex front end act as varchars when we're submitting. So this will enable us to set it that correctly. Now if we go back and run the page, go back into SQL Plus, we see our test2 record with the full timestamp. So if you do need to capture timestamps on form submit for either insert, update, or any other action on our table, that's how you can do it in full detail.